Have you ever wondered why two people can witness the exact same event, yet remember it completely differently? Or why someone can confidently defend an opinion that later turns out to be completely wrong? Every single day, your brain quietly shapes your thoughts, emotions, and decisions in ways you rarely notice, often without asking for your permission. The strange part is that most people go through life believing they fully understand their own minds, when psychology suggests the opposite is often true. Hidden beneath ordinary conversations, habits, relationships, and even your social media scrolling are powerful mental shortcuts that influence almost everything you do. Understanding these invisible patterns does not just satisfy curiosity. It can help you make better decisions, understand difficult people, improve your relationships, and even recognize when your own mind is quietly misleading you. In this video, we will explore 11 fascinating psychological facts about human behavior, each backed by scientific research and connected to experiences you have probably had yourself. Some will explain mysteries you have wondered about for years, while others may completely change how you see yourself and the people around you. By the end, you might never look at everyday human behavior the same way again. So, let's dive into the fascinating science behind the human mind. Fact 1. The most confident people are not always the most competent. Have you ever met someone who speaks with absolute certainty, confidently correcting everyone around them, only to discover later that much of what they said was completely inaccurate? It is a surprisingly common experience that leaves many people wondering how confidence can be so disconnected from ability. Psychologists call this the Dunning-Kruger effect, a cognitive bias where people with limited knowledge or skill in a particular area mistakenly believe they are far more capable than they actually are. Ironically, the very lack of expertise that causes their mistakes also makes those mistakes difficult for them to recognize. Research suggests that genuine expertise often brings greater awareness of complexity. As people learn more about a subject, they begin noticing just how much they still do not know. Meanwhile, beginners may overlook important details, leading them to overestimate their own understanding and underestimate the knowledge of others. You can observe this pattern almost anywhere, from heated family debates and workplace discussions to social media arguments where certainty often attracts more attention than accuracy. Confidence may sound convincing, but it should never be mistaken for evidence. The next time someone seems absolutely certain, pause before accepting their claims. Likewise, question your own assumptions with curiosity instead of certainty, because recognizing what you do not know is often the first sign of genuine wisdom. Fact 2. Your brain remembers emotional moments better than ordinary ones. Have you ever noticed how you can vividly remember an embarrassing mistake from years ago, yet struggle to recall what you had for lunch just a few days ago? Your memory is far from a perfect recording device. Psychologists have discovered that emotionally intense experiences are often stored more deeply than routine events because they carry greater personal significance. Whether the emotion is joyful, frightening, exciting, or heartbreaking, your brain treats those moments as important information worth preserving. Research suggests that emotional events activate brain regions involved in both memory and emotion, making those experiences easier to recall later. This is why major milestones, unexpected surprises, and deeply personal moments often remain remarkably clear even after many years have passed. This explains why people can describe their graduation, first heartbreak, or an unforgettable achievement in incredible detail while forgetting countless ordinary days that happened between those milestones. Your mind naturally prioritizes experiences that help shape your personal story. The next time a powerful memory suddenly resurfaces, remember that it is not random. Your brain is constantly deciding which experiences deserve a permanent place, and emotion is one of its strongest signals for determining what truly matters. Fact 3. Thinking about your problems like a stranger can make you wiser. Have you ever given excellent advice to a friend, then found yourself making the exact mistake you warned them about? Most people are surprisingly better at solving someone else's problems than their own. Psychologists refer to this tendency as Solomon's paradox, named after the biblical king celebrated for his wisdom. It describes our habit of thinking more rationally about other people's situations while becoming emotional and biased when our own lives are involved. Research suggests that personal emotions narrow our perspective, making it harder to weigh different possibilities fairly. When we imagine ourselves as an outside observer, however, our emotional intensity decreases, allowing clearer reasoning and more balanced decision-making. This explains why difficult choices often feel impossible until you imagine that the same situation belongs to a close friend. Suddenly, the solution appears much more obvious because your brain is no longer overwhelmed by fear, pride, or uncertainty. The next time you face a challenging decision, try asking yourself, what advice would I give someone else in this exact situation? That simple shift in perspective may help you uncover answers that were hidden by your own emotions. Fact 4. Your brain can fool you into seeing what you expect. Have you ever searched everywhere for your phone while it was sitting right in front of you? Or completely missed something obvious because you were focused on finding something else? Your expectations can quietly shape what you notice. Psychologists describe this as confirmation bias, the tendency to search for, notice, and remember information that supports our existing beliefs while ignoring evidence that challenges them. Instead of seeing reality exactly as it is, our brains often filter it through expectations. Studies have found that confirmation bias helps the brain process information more efficiently, but it also increases the risk of poor judgment. Once we become emotionally attached to an opinion, contradictory evidence can feel uncomfortable, making us less willing to reconsider. This bias appears everywhere, from political debates and online discussions to everyday disagreements between friends. People often leave the same conversation believing they were both right because each person remembers the details that support their own viewpoint. The next time you feel absolutely certain about something, pause and ask yourself, what evidence might prove you wrong? Being willing to challenge your own beliefs is one of the most effective ways to make better decisions and avoid unnecessary mistakes. Fact 5. Your mood can spread to other people without a single word. Have you ever walked into a room where everyone seemed cheerful, only to find yourself smiling too? Or entered a tense environment and suddenly felt uneasy, despite nobody saying anything? Emotions are surprisingly contagious. Psychologists call this emotional contagion, the natural tendency for people to unconsciously absorb and mirror the emotions of those around them. Through facial expressions, body language, tone of voice, and subtle social cues, our brains constantly pick up emotional signals. Research suggests that specialized brain systems help us imitate and understand the feelings of others almost automatically. This ability strengthens social bonds and cooperation, but it also means that stress, anxiety, and negativity can spread through groups surprisingly quickly. You can observe emotional contagion in families, classrooms, workplaces, and even on social media, where a single uplifting or upsetting post can influence thousands of people. The emotions you encounter each day quietly shape your own emotional state. The next time you notice your mood changing for no obvious reason, consider the people around you. Choosing to spend more time with positive, supportive individuals may improve your emotional well-being more than you realize. Fact 6. Rejection activates the same brain regions as physical pain. Have you ever felt a painful ache in your chest after being ignored, rejected, or excluded from a group? Although the wound is emotional rather than physical, your brain often reacts as though you have been genuinely hurt. Psychologists have found that social rejection is processed by some of the same brain regions involved in experiencing physical pain. This overlap helps explain why heartbreak, loneliness, and exclusion can feel so intensely real instead of being merely unpleasant thoughts. Research suggests that our ancestors depended heavily on belonging to a group for survival. Being rejected could have meant losing protection, food, and social support, so the brain evolved to treat social exclusion as a serious threat that demanded immediate attention. This is why being left out of a conversation, ignored by friends, or receiving a disappointing message can affect your mood for hours or even days. The emotional discomfort is not imagined because your brain interprets rejection as something significant. The next time rejection hurts more than you expected, remember that your reaction is part of normal human psychology. Understanding this can help you respond with greater self-compassion instead of assuming something is fundamentally wrong with you. Fact 7. The more choices you have, the harder decisions become. Have you ever spent an hour comparing products online, only to feel even less certain about which one to choose? Instead of feeling empowered, too many options can leave you frustrated and mentally exhausted. Psychologists refer to this as the paradox of choice, the idea that while having some options increases freedom, having too many can overwhelm the brain. Rather than making decisions easier, an abundance of choices often creates uncertainty and hesitation. Research indicates that every decision requires mental effort. As the number of available options grows, your brain must compare more possibilities, imagine more outcomes, and worry about making the wrong choice. This process increases cognitive load and can lead to decision fatigue. You can see this effect when choosing a movie to watch, selecting a restaurant, or browsing endless online stores. Many people spend more time evaluating options than actually enjoying the final decision, wondering if a better choice was still waiting. The next time you feel overwhelmed by countless possibilities, try narrowing your options before deciding. Limiting unnecessary choices can reduce stress, improve satisfaction, and help you focus more on enjoying your decision than questioning it afterward. Fact 8. You judge others differently than you judge yourself. Have you ever become annoyed when someone arrived late, yet quickly excused yourself the next time you were delayed because of traffic or an unexpected problem? Most people do this without even realizing it. Psychologists call this the fundamental attribution error, a cognitive bias that causes us to explain other people's behavior by blaming their personality while explaining our own behavior through circumstances beyond our control. Research suggests that we have far more information about our own situations than we do about other people's lives. Since we cannot see their hidden challenges, our brains naturally fill in the gaps by making assumptions about their character. This bias affects everyday interactions at work, school, and home. Someone who forgets a deadline may seem careless, while we view our own mistakes as understandable exceptions caused by stress, exhaustion, or unexpected responsibilities. The next time someone behaves in a way that frustrates you, pause before making assumptions about their personality. Considering that unseen circumstances may be influencing their actions can lead to greater empathy, stronger relationships, and fewer unnecessary misunderstandings. Fact 9. Your brain loves information, almost as much as rewards. Have you ever opened your phone intending to check just one notification, only to find yourself scrolling through countless posts without realizing how much time had passed? Your curiosity may be working against you. Psychologists have found that the brain treats discovering new information as a rewarding experience. Every unexpected headline, interesting fact, or surprising notification can trigger the release of dopamine, a chemical involved in motivation and reward seeking. Research suggests that dopamine does not simply make us enjoy rewards. It motivates us to keep searching for the next interesting piece of information. This is why social media platforms, news feeds, and short videos can feel so difficult to put down. Every swipe carries the possibility of finding something entertaining, useful, or surprising. Because your brain never knows exactly when the next rewarding discovery will appear, it encourages you to continue scrolling, even after you plan to stop. The next time you catch yourself endlessly refreshing your feed, remember that your brain is responding to a powerful reward system. Setting clear limits before you begin can help you enjoy technology without letting curiosity quietly control your attention. Fact 10. Speaking another language can change the way you think. Have you ever noticed that bilingual people sometimes seem to express different sides of their personality depending on the language they are speaking? It may seem surprising, but language can influence how we process information. Psychologists have discovered that making decisions in a foreign language often reduces certain emotional biases. Because people typically have less emotional attachment to a second language, they may evaluate choices more carefully and rely less on instinctive reactions. Research suggests that using another language requires greater mental control and deliberate thinking. This extra cognitive effort can reduce impulsive judgments, helping people focus more on facts, probabilities, and logical reasoning rather than immediate emotional responses. This effect has been observed in situations involving financial decisions, moral dilemmas, and risk assessment. While speaking another language does not make someone automatically wiser, it can encourage a slower and more analytical approach to difficult choices. The next time you face an important decision, remember that slowing your thinking can be just as valuable as changing your language. Taking time to analyze your options carefully often leads to better judgments than relying solely on your first instinct. Fact 11. Helping other people can improve your own life. Have you ever noticed that doing something kind for another person sometimes leaves you feeling happier than buying something for yourself? One simple act of generosity can create positive effects that last much longer than expected. Psychologists have found that regularly helping others is associated with greater happiness, stronger social connections, and improved emotional well-being. Acts of kindness can provide people with a deeper sense of purpose while strengthening relationships within their communities. Research suggests that volunteering and other forms of generosity may reduce stress while encouraging the release of chemicals linked to positive emotions. Meaningful social interaction also helps combat loneliness, which has been connected to numerous physical and mental health challenges. Whether you volunteer at a local organization, support a friend during a difficult time, or simply perform small acts of kindness, your actions benefit both the people around you and your own psychological health in ways that are often overlooked. The next time you have an opportunity to help someone, remember that generosity is not just about improving another person's life. It is also an investment in your own happiness, resilience, and long-term emotional well-being. Throughout this video, we have explored 11 fascinating psychological facts that reveal just how complex and surprising the human mind truly is. From hidden thinking biases and emotional memories to the effects of rejection, curiosity, language, and kindness, these discoveries show that our everyday behavior is influenced by countless mental processes operating beneath our awareness. Perhaps the most interesting lesson is that understanding psychology is not about labeling people or predicting every action they take. Instead, it gives us a valuable framework for understanding why we sometimes make irrational decisions, misjudge situations, or react emotionally even when we believe we are being completely logical. At the same time, it is important to remember that psychology is an evolving science. Many findings are supported by strong evidence, while others continue to be refined as researchers conduct larger and more diverse studies. Human behavior is incredibly complex, so no single theory or experiment can explain everyone in every situation. Even so, these psychological insights can help you become more mindful of your own thoughts, emotions, and habits. The more you understand how your mind works, the better equipped you become to make thoughtful decisions, build healthier relationships, and recognize the invisible influences shaping your daily life. Which of these psychological facts surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments below, because we would love to hear your thoughts and experiences. If you enjoyed this video and learned something new, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with someone who would find it interesting. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.